Have some fun.
Devo Jones with the pick six, Keanu O'Neal with the hard hit, getting the ball back on offense. Watch Julio Jones keep moving the sticks. Calvin Ridley in for the score. We came back, we up four, about to get in. Our victory stats, no coming back. We closing the door. ATL blackout. ATL blackout.
What's going on, football fans? We back again live for another Tuesday show.
Yes, sir.
And Jimmy, what you got for me?
Hey, man. And look here, I'll never get tired of saying this. This your boy Jimbo Dean, a.k.a. Jimbo Slice, a.k.a. Jimmy Obama. And you can call me any one of those you want. But please do not call me no down New Orleans Saints fan. Big Mike, what is going on, baby?
Hey, man, another week, another loss. But, they give us a lot to talk about as always. We talk about wins. We talk about losses. We talk about it the same way because we love our Dirty Birds, win, lose, or draw. So, JR, take us on this week, JR.
Well, like the thumbnail indicates, we seem to keep finding new ways to lose, fellas. It's been a while since I have seen a touchdown be a bad thing. Now, I will not, and I'm not going to sit here and try to put this on Todd Gurley. I mean, look, score the touchdown, right? You're going in, you score the go-ahead touchdown with a minute left on the clock. Shouldn't your defense be able to hold for a minute? You know what I'm saying? They have been holding them to field goals except for right at the half and right at the end of the game. So, shouldn't at some point your defense be able to make the play, right? That's the part that gets me. Like I know at the start of this shows, I always do my little rant, and then I'll release back into the wild, so to speak, whether it be y'all or the chat room or whatever. But the one thing that I am absolutely tired of when it comes to these Atlanta Falcons, my Atlanta Falcons, okay, the one thing I'm absolutely tired of is when we absolutely have to have a play, whether it's offense or whether it's defense, it's nowhere to be had.
Absolutely.
Nowhere to be had. That's the part that I am absolutely sick of. That has been here since Mike Smith. That has carried over into Dan Quinn. If we got to have a stop, not going to happen. If we got to score a point, not going to happen. Like early in Matt Ryan's career, he did get, a whole bunch of fourth quarter comebacks, winning drives, stuff of that nature. But dude, that's been gone for since about 2015.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right.
Since about this new regime that's come in. There's some quotes that we're going to get into here later that really has me wondering. But what are some of y'all's thoughts and opinions on this stuff?
Go ahead, Mike. You take this one, baby.
I mean, it's almost like we took Dan Quinn, and pardon the Dan Quinn reference, guys, because we said we weren't going to mention Dan Quinn as each week goes on. But it's almost like we took Dan Quinn and we gave him a serious attitude, and we made him Raheem Morris. Because what it looked like was, what I saw was, I saw a team that looked angry. Let's be honest now. I'm not going to sit here and undersell this defense. That defense looked really good for about 4 quarters. Just defense. It looked decent. Now, like I said, this was a game where I think the refs did a job. They did their number on taking us out of this game. Yeah. But I think when it comes down to the Falcons, what I saw again was the inability to finish, the ability to play with the team 4.5 quarters, but still, it is something mentally that is off to where Todd Gurley, scores that touchdown. The other team is already so excited to play our defense in a critical moment. Oh, yeah. That is unacceptable. So that's where I'm at this week.
And I'm on the same page as both of y'all, man. The Falcons, like JR said, all the way back to history, that one consistent thing, that one constant. When we need that big play, it's just nowhere to be found. It's in my yayo. It's on the back of a milk carton. It's the same thing over and over again. It has become a label. It has become a culture. So they are really embracing that culture, which is a bad culture to embrace, but they are embracing it. And I'm like, JR, I am getting sick and tired of it because it started where it got old. It's been old. It got old. That ship been sailed. But we still sitting here putting up with it. And don't get it twisted now. We all going to watch them again. We all going to keep watching them.
Oh, of course.
But that one consistent thing that JR, y'all brung up, just can't finish that same thing. And it's just crazy. It's been going on for all these years, JR. I feel the same way y'all feel. It's crazy to me, man.
It's a interesting thing to look at. I toyed with the idea when I was putting together this thumbnail for the show. I toyed with the idea of going with the label that said, where's the rush? Talking about like the pass rush, right? But it's something that we need to talk about. I'm not necessarily I know a lot of people are dogpiling on Dante Fowler, but that joker's been playing with a bum ankle, and he's still been impacting the game.
Oh, yes, sir.
I mean, who made that stop on the goal line stand earlier in the game? Dante Fowler.
Single-handedly now.
Right. And so you can't bring up, at this point in time, you can't bring up Dante Fowler without bringing up Grady Jarrett. We paid all this man all this money who, we call him a poor man's Aaron Donald. Right. Yeah. Poor man's Aaron. Where's his production been these last few weeks?
You see Arizona last night?
Dude, wrecking it. Absolutely wrecking it. That's what I'm talking about. It's like we cannot produce a consistent pass rush. Yeah. And it is absolutely maddening. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and call it. It's not from the lack of trying. You can say what you want to. You drafted Vic Beasley, top 10. The man was absolutely lighting it up in college. He gets to the NFL, gets all that money, and apparently his desire to play football disappeared. Okay? Because he ain't been producing up in Tennessee either, right? So then the following year, you draft Tack McKinley, who comes in with full of piss and vinegar. Absolute he was that fun crazy that we've been wanting and that we've been looking for, right?
Yep.
What has he done on the field? Get hurt. That's what he's done. His shoulders, imagine that. He had bum shoulder in college, and he comes to the pros and continues to have bum shoulders. Imagine that.
Yeah, what a surprise.
Right. But, these are two guys who produced in college. So you can't sit here and say you took bums, right? Because these guys weren't bums at their position, on the teams that they played on. Then you sign a guy like Dante Fowler, who has been decent, I guess you could say. Some people want to call him a Vic Beasley clone, and I think he sets the edge much better than Beasley ever did.
Vic Beasley never made a play like that on 4th down against Adrian Peterson. No. Two different football players. But
exactly. Keep right. And then, but let's just talk about the defensive game plan for a minute, right? You had last week or the previous week, DeAndre Swift burst out for, over 100-something yards and scoring touchdowns like crazy. And you're thinking, oh, great, here we go. You hold him to, 26 yards rushing?
Yep.
Under 100 yards all-purpose, period. Right?
Right.
You play You give up 2 touchdowns in the game. Your defense didn't play bad as a whole. You look at it on paper, the defense was like, oh, well, I mean, those are respectable numbers. But the problem is you didn't have it when you needed it. You didn't have it when it counted.
Right.
You go up 6 points. Or, 6 points. And you have 1:06 left. And I don't think there's any Falcon fan out there that didn't look down at that clock and say, oh, God, there's too much time.
Yeah,
I mean, that was my thought.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You know, so it's just, it's tiresome in that aspect. And I'm not going to spend the entire show griping because we're going to get into chat here in a minute. But it's tiresome to continue looking at this defense, knowing that they can't get a stop when it matters. Looking at this offense, and I'll say it. I mean, you scored a touchdown with, like I said, with 2 minutes left on the clock. You scored your touchdown to put your team up.
Right.
You did your job this past week. Now, where was your job at throughout the game after you come off a week that you scored 40?
All right.
And then you're only going to score 20-something. I feel like if we don't score over 30, we're going to lose.
And actually, Jerry, I'm glad you brought that point up because I think that's one of the most puzzling things about Dirk Cutter to me. It's like if it is not 90 yards for a touchdown drive, we can't move the ball. That is a fundamental problem with the Falcons. Mm-hmm. Why do we have to be on our 5-yard line? They have to, suck up 11 minutes out of the clock to give our defense just enough of a break to be able to, catch their, like I said, catch their breath, right? So I think that's one of my biggest problems with the Falcons, like I said, over the last 2 weeks. And I think another thing, too, is, you bring up, we talk a little bit about the defense. I still saw far too many chunk plays, even outside of Isaiah Oliver. Usually we're hard on Isaiah Oliver every week. Isaiah Oliver was not the worst secondary guy on the field on Sunday. There were other guys. And to be honest with you, I will talk about him on another show because I want to see how he continues to progress. But everybody talks about how great Ricardo Allen would look as a coach. The way he is playing this season, it looks like it may be next season or the next couple of seasons where we see what type of coach he is if he doesn't up his play. Because he has been so underperforming, I would say, for the last couple of years that is a reason why, again, when we start talking reconstruction, we start talking fundamental rebuild, we've got to hit. There are some positions of need over, like I said, we won't touch on it right now because I know Chad is probably bumping.
Yeah, right. We definitely need to get into that.
But that's what I'm saying, though, man. Like I said, those are things that we're going to need to really monitor over the next couple of years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, anyway.
Speaking of chat, let's just go ahead and jump on into it. They are popping off just like we already are. Dexter, Vlash, Sunshine, UFO, and Jaden all said what's up, along with Kojak Nantucket. What's going on, fellas? Speed Falcon for life. Appreciate y'all dropping in. Speed Falcon says, another week, another way to lose a heartbreaker. Ain't that the truth?
Indeed.
Anthony Wright said, what's happening pound for pound professionals? I don't know about that professional part now. Look, we doing what we can do, but we fans just like you.
Right.
Sorry.
Hey, bro, I appreciate Anthony, though.
All right, no doubt. Coach James Tucker says, Dirty Bird till I die. Justin Fields, what do y'all think? Our record will end up with a draft pick. We're going to get into that later on, as I feel like we are going to continue to have to get into that week in and week out.
Yep.
Wound Carter says, rise up, pound for pound family. Do y'all think Raheem Morris shot himself in the foot with the decision towards the end of the game? Also, can someone explain Dirk Cutter's reason for still being here? He's got pictures of somebody. He's got to have pictures of somebody.
He got some.
At this point,
he found some emails.
Something.
He found some emails.
A lot of folks were talking about the refs. The damn refs were on Detroit's side. I'll say it like this. You cannot put yourself in a position to let the refs influence the game.
Don't put it in their hands.
Don't put it in their hands.
That's
Period. Point blank. Anthony Wright says a touchdown wasn't a bad thing. The defense should have stopped Detroit. That's it. At the end of the day, you shouldn't have to do something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy. That's crazy.
You shouldn't have to worry about scoring a touchdown. That doesn't make
Is
doesn't make
football
no
getting
sense
so
to me.
analytical now? That's too analytical for me. Football
yeah.
just get too analytical.
Well, I got some analytics
Score,
for you here in a minute, but anyway. Speed Falcon says, please get rid of the entire defense. Something's going to have to give. Something's going to have to change, that's for sure. Falcon Fan Extraordinaire says, the stuff happens to the Falcons time and time again. You can't make this ish up. No, you cannot. The thing that I was going to bring up and we can dive into, I saw some kind of stat talking about 3 times this season the Falcons, per analytics, had like a 99% chance to win some games. Like late in the fourth quarter, and we still end up losing.
Yep.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
That's hard to do. That is really hard to do.
It is. Yeah, that takes skill right there. It's just the skill I don't want, you know?
Yep.
Let's see. Vlad says, how's it going, everyone? What's going on, Vlad? Glad you decided to stop by, sir.
What's up, man?
Let's see. Fred Butt says, players keep losing games, and the end of DQ is gone, and that proves it was the players. I mean, we'll see. Yeah, I guess you could say so. But anybody who thought that it was going to change overnight was fooling themselves anyway.
Yeah,
you know, you can't.
It's still a little bit of both,
right?
Too, but,
you know, it's definitely there's some player issues for sure.
Oh yeah,
and I wasn't gonna, you know, no way I was gonna not blame some players anyway. But still,
oh yeah,
right.
Sunshine says it's their get off and their technique while pass rushing that sucks. I guess he must have been talking about when we were bringing up the pass rushers. I don't know what the problem is, but I thought that's what old Tosh Lapoy or whatever was supposed to come in and fix. Him and was it Jerome Simpson? Ain't that the other defensive line coach?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why, you know, to go back to the earlier comment, that's why, you know, that's been an area where it's for the most part been the players, because Tosh Lapoy has gotten good effort out of previous pass rushers. He has been able to mold pass rushers, you know, kind of in his coaching career. So the pass rush has always been a year. You know, it's always been one of our lower areas of emphasis for whatever reason. Like I said, and the ones we missed, like I said, we go Vic Beasley. We miss on Vic Beasley. We miss on Tack McKinley. We have yet to draft a pass rusher that we can really groom. You know, we that's why we throw money at Dante Fowler. And we're going to continue to have to throw money at people to get this defense where it needs to be. It's going to take money. It takes money to get growth.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
That's why, like, in the long run, I'm really excited to see what a player like a John Kaminsky and a player like a Marlon Davidson can actually produce.
Yeah,
you know, the ones who weren't necessarily under the DQ umbrella for too long. You know, maybe you can work out whatever, you know, their issues were or are or whatnot. But people are citing the losing culture, which, I mean, you got to change that at some point. I mean, you can't necessarily say a losing culture when you've had more back-to-back winning seasons since 2008 than this franchise has ever had, you know?
Yeah.
But either way, you know, that's something that they have to figure out. Willie Butler says, how can we be so talented and be the most stupidest team at the same time?
I mean, it's...
Well, I'm starting to think that maybe some people are lying. Maybe we aren't as talented as we seem to think we are.
Or maybe that Dimitrov firing was for some reason.
Yeah,
that
you know, right?
Firing was probably for a reason.
Kojak Nantucket says if blitzing was working all game and clearly threw Matt Stafford off his game, why go away from it in the final drive? See, that's something that football fans have asked for time immemorial.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Why get into prevent defense when that, you know, hasn't worked for you, or what has been working for you is getting up in their faces?
Yeah. Why try to fix it if it ain't broken?
Right. I understand the concept of, you know, not wanting to give up the big play. Well, what you end up doing is letting this team move down the field uncontested.
Right.
And that's what they did.
Well, but here's the thing, though. I think I see a little bit of the point, but I also see something, or I can kind of speak on that a little bit. I think a lot of that goes back to the pass rush also. So the problem is some of our best blitzers are also some of our best cover guys, right? So it's like, even with a guy like Deion Jones, right? We really technically, Deion Jones is at his best, actually, both. You know, if you see who's been the guy really getting to the quarterback, mostly It's been Deion Jones a lot up the middle, a lot of those blitzes, a lot of
that's true.
a lot of corner blitzes, stuff like that. But the problem is when you blitzing Deion Jones, and honestly, I'm loving the growth continually of Foye Oluokun. You either got to blitz up. Both of those are good coverage linebackers, right? But the problem is when you blitz one, what happens is the quarterbacks are seeing that. They're seeing Foye Oluokun is blitzing, and they're going right to the spot where he's blitzing from, right? So the problem is this: like we have too many guys that are. We do have guys that are versatile in both. We just don't have a guy that when one guy covers, we are confident that, like you said, our pass rush can get there. So we just got to find more creative ways to blitz. So you ask yourself, like, why do we go away from the blitz, right? Or like I said, I think it goes into we just don't have enough guys, like I said, that can truly cover in the secondary, and we don't have anybody that can rush the passer. So it puts all of this pressure on our best athletes on defense, which are the linebackers. Because Foye Oluokun and Deion Jones together have been, with the emergence of AJ Terrell, which, like I said, we got to touch on him a little bit later.
For sure.
Those are the guys that I think, like I said, have been, I would say, better than expected if we're going to tear this thing down and start looking at who's not. So.
This touches on something that you brought up a little bit earlier that I want to go back to now, and that was like, do you feel like if we had more reliable safeties, that we could do some do more stuff like that in crunch time?
Absolutely.
I mean, because
absolutely.
Okay, think about it like this. You remember a few years back you had Ryan Schrader, right? He comes up as a undrafted free agent. So that means, in my mind, right, his talent level is somewhere around in here, right? You could take that talent level and push it only so far, okay? And then it becomes plainly obvious that he's exhausted his talent pool and is now getting beat by a drum, cannot sustain high-level play is basically what I'm getting at, year in and year out. Mm-hmm. And I'm really wondering if a guy like Ricardo Allen, whose talent level we all know is here, he makes up for it with intelligence and tenacity. Like, at some point in time, the lack of talent shows through, right? And I'm wondering if in times like this, if we had an elite level free safety, and I hate to bring it up, but the Antonio Whitfield that's now in Tampa Bay.
Man, come on, man.
Fantastic.
If we had somebody like that in our secondary, then would you feel more comfortable blitzing a Deion Jones in crunch time? Would you feel more comfortable blitzing a Foye Oluokun in crunch time?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Especially in a situation where, your defensive ends aren't getting home on a consistent enough basis. That you are having to get creative in blitzing. So if that be the case, if you can't trust Ricardo Allen to cover, or if you can't trust Keanu Neal to cover, because Keanu Neal is essentially another linebacker out there, because he plays so close to the line of scrimmage that he might as well be a linebacker. Mm-hmm. Then that does, start to limit you in what you can do, especially, like I said, especially in crunch time. Frank Dozier says, that's how we lost the Super Bowl. I guess with the coverage. Sunshine says we need a coverage defensive end. I don't know if they make such a thing as a coverage defensive end.
What in the world is that?
I don't know if they make such a thing as a.
What is that?
I would call that an outside linebacker, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what a coverage defensive end is. Anthony Wright says Tack McKinley, college teammate, defensive end Jacob Tua Mariner, has worked his butt off and filled in decently in games. Mariner was a D lineman that hit Kirk Cousins' arm on that interception by Oluokun.
Yes,
you're right.
Did.
I mean, at this point in time, I guess can we start getting some of these guys some more playing time?
What are we waiting on?
Like if Charles Harris is producing at a better clip than Tack McKinley, who's injured again, can't we just let Charles Harris have it?
Do his thing, right?
Which who had a solid game. This past Sunday.
Solid season. Like he's been having a solid.
He's just been solid all the way around.
Right. You know, Humble Brando says Tack is getting a free check every Sunday. I feel
Free
like
money,
it.
baby. Free money.
You know, I feel like it. He suits up and then forgets there's a game, I believe.
I wonder if they savor him for a trade. Maybe he's healthy and they just won't let him back so they can get his trade stock ready. I don't know. They ain't got that much time, but
I don't know. Whoever's
he's damaged goods either way it go though.
Right, and whoever's getting him, like, it would have to be. I mean, you'd get peanuts. What, Dallas Cowboys got a 6th round today for Everson Griffin.
Oh God, man, that's a giveaway.
You see what I'm saying? Like, what is somebody gonna give you for Tack McKinley, who's a free agent at the end of the year?
Right.
Nothing.
A Coca-Cola bottle cap, one of the old bottle caps on the
Coca-Cola bottle cap.
Recycle it and get the money for it.
That's it. That's it. I mean, that's about what you're gonna get for it. You know?
I ain't trying to talk bad about him now. Don't get me wrong, but that's about all he worth, like a penny with a hole in it.
Yeah, I mean, at this junction, Tack has showed you what he is. He is fragile as far as being able to stay healthy, and when he's on the field, he doesn't affect the field of play nearly enough.
But have you noticed his injuries? They'll fall down on the ground injuries. It's not caused by blows. Notice these injuries that he's getting. These are just fall down on the ground, trying to catch myself and my shoulder go out. Injuries. These are not getting busted up injuries.
Right.
Look at him now.
Yeah, right now I think he was out this week dealing with a groin injury.
A groin? What happened to that? How you get a groin if you ain't even played?
Right. Like, you ain't doing much.
No, actually, you know what?
He did. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He got him a play, but to your point, he still got hurt the same way you said. No, but you didn't see anybody maul him to the ground or anything like that. You're absolutely right.
No contact type injuries he's getting.
Right.
Yeah. Good.
Russell Irving says, saw somewhere that the Falcons D-line has the 3rd highest win rate on passing snaps. And another graph showing the secondary is massively underperforming. I think I saw that that graphic that you're talking about. That was on Twitter. Somebody put up the win rate of the defensive lineman versus the success rate of the secondary. Yeah, dude, the secondary's been hot garbage all season. You know,
no question.
Granted, I will say at least the last week or two, I haven't necessarily had to scream at Isaiah Oliver. But
that's a relief.
I mean, it ain't by much. But I've been screaming at other folks.
With that stat though, JR, that just goes back to finishing. Yeah. That shows they can get there, but they can't finish. They can run to the pool, but they won't dive in there. That don't make that ain't a good stat to me. I don't like that stat because that don't do nothing.
Well, right. It just shows like more stats of a 31st ranked defense that don't really prove.
That's like stats like that are when I have problems with sites like PFF and all these others. When you start giving me, saying that somebody who barely plays is better than somebody who plays all the time just because the numbers bear out, that doesn't that doesn't hold water to me. Let's see. Cindy says, "Oh my God, our defense sucks. I mean, I know Todd Gurley should have stopped, but come on now, our defense should have stopped him." Yeah, exactly. I am not going to sit here and, I put that thumbnail up as more of a joke, as more of saying it's like, oh, well, Todd Gurley should have stopped. No, you never should have been in that position to begin with. You scored that touchdown.
Yeah.
And everybody's all talking about, oh, well, you should have ran the clock down and then kicked the field goal. Who does that?
Right.
Right.
And think about it like this. We're literally asking ourselves, why didn't a 220-pound grown man, why was he not able to stop himself?
At the 1 yard line.
A touchdown. Right. After he just ran through someone at full speed.
Right. And then lay down.
Right. Okay, true enough. He can share in the blame a little bit, but the man did what he did his job. He did what they actually signed his contract to do, which was score touchdowns.
Look, I'm going to go ahead and call it. All that talk about limiting Todd Gurley's workload and all this other stuff. I saw a stat today. He's 2nd in attempts, 6th in yards rushed, which, come on, let's stop for a second. Did anybody think Todd Gurley was 6th in yards rushed? No, I didn't, okay? I didn't think he was anywhere in the top 10.
Hey, not a Dirk Cutter running back. No.
That's what I'm talking about. Did anybody think that Todd Gurley was top 10 in rushing yards? But he's also like, he was, top 5 or top 10 in, I know top 10 for sure. I'm trying to remember now, but he was high up there in touchdowns scored as well. So he's doing what you paid Todd Gurley to do.
So yeah, not doing his job.
Exactly.
And so I'll be interested to see what team, cuts him a big check next year. Because it ain't going to be the Birds.
No, he's going to get paid.
Like I said at the beginning of this season, every one of y'all who ordered a Todd Gurley Falcons jersey, at the end of this season, y'all might as well put it in one of those shadow boxes and hang it on the wall.
Sentimental value, right?
Yeah, because that's all it's going to be. He was here for a hot minute, and that was it. Let's see here. E. Pratt says, draft Asante Samuel Jr., move him to safety. Hold on, you lost me right there. If I got to move him to safety, I don't want to do it. I ain't trying to move people.
Keep Ricardo Allen, then we're going to do that.
Right.
No, man.
Or draft Paris Ford. I don't know who Paris Ford is. We ain't gotten close enough to the draft season for me to start looking at college players. But I will. I'll get there. Y'all know I do. Falcon says, don't tank for Trevor Lawrence. Draft for the defense. That's what I've been saying, right? I
like it.
You with what you're looking at facing with this salary cap situation, you can't afford to take a quarterback this draft. Not unless you're absolutely not unless you can move on from Matt Ryan and dump his money. That's the only way you're going to draft a quarterback. That's it.
$75 million.
Yeah.
Now, exactly. Now let's talk about what's possible. Now, okay, some Paris Ford, those are guys that we probably won't see in a Falcons uniform. But let's look at who could you potentially see in a Falcons uniform. I'll touch on the corner position a little bit because, to be honest with you, I think let's look at Sheffield. So you made a good point a couple minutes ago when you talked about we've been garbage, but it's been a lot more contested balls, and I think a lot of that has to do with Kendall Sheffield being on the field. Now, don't get me wrong, Sheffield does share in his share of lumps. He's gotten beat quite a few times. But what I noticed is it's a lot of 50-50 balls. He's in position. It's just almost like the hand is not in the right position. But what my point is this, though. I think we do need another solid corner.
Yeah.
That may go in next year's draft. And ideally, we're a little bit better when we can move Sheffield into the nickelback position to battle some of those quicker receivers, right? Because those are going to be the type of things that is more practical. But this continuing Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, generational talents, that's great. But to be honest with you, it's almost like Eric Bieniemy. Y'all talking about him so much that like teams are starting to kind of hey man, we know how good you are, Eric Bieniemy. Like, well, you may have to watch the Chiefs. They may have something set up for him, but kind of like Josh McDaniel, Patriots, right? So it's the same thing with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence knows that everybody wants him to go to the Jets and all that kind of stuff, but he also knows that he has a free education at Clemson that will guarantee him for the number one team
next year. That's right. I saw that today. I saw that tweet talking about like he may go back to college, and I was like, oh Lord, people gonna lose their minds if he decides to go back to college, because every team that's in the top 5, draft or drafting Trevor Lawrence or whatnot.
Yeah, so knock his door down.
Now, 50 mil just brought up an interesting point, and I wonder. He says, trade Ridley for a first-round pick. We can't afford to pay him in year 2. Now, that's interesting. Like,
man.
Now, okay, look, hear me out. I'm not saying that we should. I'm just saying that that's interesting. If you feel like you can't or are not going to move on from Julio Jones, like money-wise, whatever, right? I mean, would you entertain the idea of trading a Ridley?
Jimbo, you got to. That's too high.
That is a super hard one, but that is so genuine. It is crazy. 50 mil, I really appreciate that one. That one is so genuine that it's crazy. And guess what, Pound ATL? Yes, I will. Simply because due to COVID-19, that salary cap is going down.
That's it.
We're not going to be able to afford a lot of people. Now, damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Right.
But you're going to get some out of it for the cheap. You might not get that Kevin Ridley talent that's established already in the NFL. And boy, it's hard to say it. But for a first-round pick, man, I probably would. I probably would entertain it. I wouldn't have no choice. Because he's finna ask for big bucks. He's finna go up and He might reset the wide receiver market. We would not be able to afford that. I would definitely entertain that one.
I mean, he's.
I want him now. Don't get me wrong.
No doubt. No.
I entertain that.
We love you.
I'm not much. I'm not one for dumping talent at all. Yeah, if y'all ain't figured that one out.
That's the hard thing to
I'm not one for dumping talent, but I mean, he's already scored more touchdowns in his first 3 years than any other Falcon. Now, granted, he's got Julio Jones commanding a ton of attention, but to that credit, Julio Jones had Roddy White commanding a lot of attention when he first came into the league. So, needless to say, Ridley is an excellent wide receiver. And I wouldn't want to get rid of him per se. I was shocked that we drafted him to begin with. Again, that was somewhere that we could have went defense that year. But needless to say, we ended up with Ridley, and I would hate to walk away from him like that. But if somebody's offering me a first rounder and his money comes off the books, which we got to figure out, how to do that.
That's your thing right there.
That's going to be the interesting. Interesting how this next GM coach regime navigates this, boy.
Let me ask y'all something, though, fella. Do you think that do y'all think we make it like if we traded anybody, like practically, and I'm not talking about Matt, not talking about Julio, who could really be on the trading block though? Like honestly, because I got a guy in my mind, but who y'all really think? What's realistic?
That's our next week's show, Mike. But we can go ahead and touch on it a little bit. But that's our Saturday show right there. But let's go. But you go ahead, JR. Touch on it. Go on and touch on it, JR. That's our show.
The only player that I could realistically see us trading and moving away from is an Alex Mack.
Right.
Because you have Matt Hennessy, a natural center, sitting on the bench. Because one of the pluses of having Dan Quinn gone now, the musical chairs at left guard has finally stopped.
Oh, God, yes.
James Carpenter has come in and played solid, okay? So we're not switching back and forth between him and Matt Hennessy anymore. And so I could easily see them getting a 4th, 5th round pick for an Alex Mack. Yep. And then plugging Hennessy in for the rest of the season. Because, I mean, he's your center for the future.
That's right.
So might as well go ahead and start getting him his lumps. Iron Rain says no one's going to trade for Mac. I don't know, dude. The 49ers center, I think, was I don't know. I can't remember.
Ben Garland.
Yeah, Ben Garland. Yeah, exactly. I thought couldn't remember if it was him or Mike Persons. But, Ben Garland went down. Mm-hmm. And so you're talking about somebody right there that can walk in immediately and is familiar with your system, your coaching, everything.
And keep everything rolling, yep.
And he's and you know what? Hey, now you just said something interesting. And he was a Cal Berkeley guy. Hey, Alex Mack is a Cal Berkeley guy. He's right out of there in the Bay Area.
He'll definitely want to go home for the last part of his career. No question about it.
And a team always wants a quarterback of an offensive line. Cause believe it, a center, a good one, is a quarterback of the offensive line. Yeah, take him in a heartbeat.
Look, why did you have to go out and get an Alex Mack? Because of your James Stones and your Mike Persons of the time, who was causing Matt Ryan not to be able to scout the defense before the play because he's over here having to do everything else.
He was getting killed.
Right.
I want to hurt Mike Parsons. I want to hurt Parsons.
Oh,
bad.
Yeah, me and you both.
So bad to him. Yep.
Sunshine UFO says, on the defense, Tyler Davidson. Now, I could see anybody on the defense getting traded outside of Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones, Dante Fowler.
Anybody,
Look, you can have just about anybody. Because just about anybody, they're all up for free agents anyway. Tad McKinley, gone after this year. Keanu Neal, gone after this year. Ricardo Allen, probably gone after this year. Alan Bailey, his contract's up. You see what I'm saying?
KZ, you can go down the line.
Right, KZ, his contract, he's on IR, but his contract's up. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, nobody other than, the rookies, obviously, But outside of the rookies, Grady Jarrett, Deion Jones, and Dante Fowler, everybody else is up for grabs.
That's it.
Now,
that's pretty much it.
Wait. Not Foy now. You got A. I'm liking Foy.
Now, well, look, I
okay,
like
yeah.
Foy. I don't want to get rid of Foy.
No, but you were speaking from a contract standpoint.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Somebody says fans gone after this year.
Oh God.
Hey, trade us.
Hey,
I ain't up for trade. I'm a foul.
No.
That's it. Look, this hat's new. I just bought this one.
I like that. I'll say something about that thing. I like that thing. No.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah.
Address after the show.
Give me a 90s. I like that. We need one of those starter jackets with the go with that one.
Dude.
Right.
Can I get yes.
Hey, Jay, I'll give you my address after the show. Just mail that thing.
Just mail that just right on to you.
Okay,
I got you. All right there, Jay.
I appreciate it. I really do.
Nick HD 56 says the problems that have plagued us for the 2 or 3 seasons, straight out peaking this year. Yeah, it seems like it. The shine has definitely wore off on a lot of these players that came in with so much promise. I mean, how excited were we for Keanu Neal?
Oh man.
And now, how many of you would just go ahead and move Keanu Neal out of Atlanta right now? So, Speed Falcon says, move Michael Walker at inside linebacker, trade Debo so we can get picks for him and fill in other needs at defense. I don't know if I'm trading Debo. I mean,
he got a friendly contract too.
He does have a friendly contract, and
that's cheap money.
And he is a really good cover linebacker.
We talked about coverage on our defense. Now we talked about. Remember our conversation earlier about why we can't blitz more in certain situations because one of our best blitzes is also our best cover guy. No, you don't trade a guy like that.
Right, exactly. No. I mean, you don't trade. He might be undersized, but he is still a real good middle linebacker.
And he's not getting linebacker money either. He got a friendly deal.
Right.
Let's just try to keep it that way.
Exactly. Yeah. IRS says Debo has to stay in the ATL.
Exactly.
Nick HD says Raheem shouldn't get the HC gig after the blunder of the game. What's y'all's thoughts there so far?
Blew it. I think he might have blew it. What you think?
I don't know how much. We'll never actually know, exactly how much he blew it. He's taking the Todd Gurley thing on himself. But like I said, I'm interested to see how this season finishes out, because according to everybody's schedules and predictions, the Lions was the last really winnable game.
Oh man, look at that schedule.
You got Tampa twice.
Go.
You got New Orleans twice still. You got the Chiefs. Who else? You got to play the Raiders still.
Okay.
Broncos beat. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, so yes, the Broncos are winnable, but so you asked the question about Raheem. Arthur Blank said this. He said, hey, if Raheem Morris goes 11-0, we will think about Raheem Morris as the head coach.
So he had to win out to be thought about.
Yeah, that shit can sell.
Okay, so he didn't win out, so we're not thinking about him no more?
Well, okay, so wait a minute. With that schedule that you just said ahead, that's why I'm just thinking about. We got the Chiefs. We got Tampa twice. Have we seen the same shit? No.
We
want to play one divisional game, Mike.
Yeah, that's it. One. We're playing another one Thursday.
Okay, so to your point, the last winnable game might be Thursday.
Yeah.
On a short week, like I said, tough loss. Girl is motivated. I see the guys coming back out, like Jimbo said the week before last, that wish spirit. And to your point, man, like I said, we got an uphill battle we fighting. And it's not even
sure.
At this point. Like we can actually have excuses for the team now. Like they're actually going to play teams that are superior. So
we're playing good teams, right? Instead of playing teams that are on our level or low. We're actually playing teams that are good teams, right? We got Soldier Orleans. Apparently the algorithm. Apparently the algorithm is. He says the algorithm. I tell you, why would they recommend this to me? Who that Falcons? I got you. All I'll say to any Saints fan that is in our stream right at this moment, your time is coming, my friend. If y'all think we're in cap hell, oh my God.
Right.
You come over here and see what I do to you.
That's right.
So yeah, y'all go ahead. Yeah, y'all's time is coming.
Do your thing.
That's right.
Either way, let's see. Anthony Wright says last year, 2019, week 3, we lose to Indy by 3 points, and our cornerback or comeback fell short. Crap. Hold on. Our comeback fell short. We lose week 6 at Arizona as another comeback fell short. I'm thinking that he's talking about like this has become a mentality, for this team.
No question.
And I will say this: that was not necessarily a mentality when Mike Smith was here.
No.
Like generally speaking, when you lost with Smith in charge.
Yeah.
Take it easy, Soldier Orleans. I appreciate you at least being a cordial Saints fan. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you for the view, sir. Thank you for the view.
Yeah, but you come over here.
Gerald Reed says, he's talking about Eric Bieniemy. I tell you, man, right now my early thought says Bieniemy ends up in Houston with Deshaun Watson.
I can see that.
I can see that pairing right there. I think that would be. I think that would be a good pairing. I wouldn't mind him here, but I think that would be a good pairing. Speed Falcon says, hire Arthur Smith, please. He must have watched my video last week.
I think he did.
If y'all didn't get a chance to see it or notice it, I've been trying to do these coaching profiles as the weeks go on. I got another one dropping this Thursday. Talking
it's
about,
good too.
Maybe somebody that y'all hadn't thought about. Now, look, I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. Every one of these profiles I do, I'm not saying that this is the person that we should hire. I'm just wanting y'all to think about coaches that may not be brought up by other people or may not be brought up by mainstream. You know what I'm saying? So
yes,
that's all I'm doing, or at least trying to do. Tracy said, Gurley my dude, but he don't have that dog in him anymore. Compare his Ram highlights to what we see here in Atlanta. Now he's definitely not the same player. That arthritis in his knee, I think has taken a lot of, spunk out of him, so to speak. But as we spoke on earlier,
I'm about to say
he's still in the top 10 of every category for running backs this year.
Yeah. And
this is on, as you pointed out, Jimmy, a dirt cutter coach team.
Right.
So
that's something right there.
Right. That's something to be said. Wallace Smith, and he's not the only one that says it, but he's the comment that I'm going to read right here. It says, I think if we went with a college coach, I think Urban Meyer would be a good pick. Ooh. I don't know. I mean, okay, I'll give it. Urban Meyer is intriguing because of his offense, right? That he has an innovative offense. But he has an innovative offense that's really predicated on like a mobile moving quarterback as a dimension. So it would be interesting to see if he could translate to the pros.
Okay, so let me just touch on Urban Meyer, because in my head, when you said Urban Meyer, I just see Nance from North Dakota State. I'm just prognosticating. I'm not saying that I have, but I could see Urban Meyer with a Nance from North Dakota State just really making some good music in the NFL. Just, like you said, his offense is predicated on one of those guys. But I could see Urban Meyer taking a guy like that and really. But again, do we know, can Urban Meyer lead men who get paid to only play football? There are no class distractions, all of that kind of stuff. That goes into the Nick Saban category. Can these guys lead NFL players and make them go, reach their best potential?
That's my biggest concern with any.
That's the hard part.
That is my biggest concern with any college coach. I'll give everybody a little teaser. The head coach that I'm talking about this Thursday is a college coach, and I bring that up. No, I ain't gonna drop his name, but that is a point that I bring up. That is the concern with bringing in a college coach, is can he, with the limited amount of control over the organization, because in the pros, it's an organization. In college, it's a program. Okay? That's different levels. You see what I'm saying? So in an organization at the NFL level, can a college coach acclimate? And history tells us more times than not, no. Now, we're seeing some success this year with a Cliff Kingsbury and a Matt Rule.
Matt Rule, yeah.
To an extent, you know what I'm saying? But time will tell, like how these guys actually build their rosters and stuff like that. Anthony Wright says Urban Meyer will quit 2 years into his contract. He'll start having heart problems. Ain't that what happened to him a couple times?
Hey, come on, leave the heart problems out.
I'm just saying.
Come on, man.
Like Tim Tebow went to the NFL, and all of a sudden, Urban developed heart problems.
Yeah, he did.
Anyway,
something wrong with me.
People started investigating Ohio State, and all of a sudden, Urban developed heart problems.
Something wrong with me. Something wrong with me.
Just saying. Christian Raines says 4-12 or 6-10. Draft a QB in the coming draft. That's just my opinion. I appreciate your opinion.
I appreciate it.
I don't see it. Like I said, we got too many holes, too big of a cap hit. That's dedicating a lot of money to the QB if you draft a QB early in the first round. Now I keep seeing people bring up Rex Ryan. I don't know how else I have to say this. I don't want Rex Ryan anywhere near controlling my program. At best, I would let him maybe be a defensive coordinator. Maybe. I don't want him to be my head coach. And depending on who the head coach is, I don't even want him being my defensive coordinator. Just saying.
Because he gonna fight that head coach. He gonna fight him on the sideline in the middle of a game. Y'all don't know that?
Look at his daddy. him and Dicka.
Yeah. We're gonna fight you right in the middle of the game.
Jay Nebergall says Jets get the number 1 pick. That may be why Trevor Lawrence is gonna stay in school.
I would.
Yeah.
I want my degree.
That's right.
That boy does not want to be in New York. Know that. He does not want to be in New York.
That's right. That may be why Trevor Lawrence is going to go back to you got a point there, Jade.
I don't blame him.
Right. He was like he don't want to play the New England Patriots. He can play Boston College another year. Why
right.
go? He going to Boston.
Right.
I play Boston College. I don't have to play the Patriots. I give it a year.
If the Jets get the number 1 pick, I can see Trevor Lawrence pulling the Eli Manning. I'm not going.
I ain't playing there.
I can see my own draft
you draft me, but I'm going to stay home.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
GA Hypernova says, bring in Kirby Smart. He won't have to choose a QB. I don't want Kirby Smart anywhere near my team.
I'm about to say, Mike, don't get Mike started. Don't get him started, JR.
Look. Do not bring the Georgia Bulldogs into this conversation. Don't bring Kirby Smart into this conversation. And another thing, the Urban Meyer thing, it don't sound as good as it did a couple, because you said heart problems. I mean, have you seen the team that we support?
Hey, you talking about heart problems. Look.
NBA Nation, we got heart problems. I mean, anyway, I'm sorry. We got left, but keep it rolling.
I mean, look, I did tell y'all the other day that they took my temperature during the game, and I was close to running a fever watching the Falcons. You talking about heart problems.
Hurting over there.
Quentin Williams says, the Jets will have the number 1 pick next year too. Oh man, he's thinking that Trevor Lawrence may not be able to dodge the Jets.
Hold up, JR, did you say Quentin Williams or Quentin Williams, like the player from the Jets?
Yeah,
no. Okay, excuse me. I said Williams. Maybe I was thinking about the player for the Jets.
Oh, okay.
This says Quentin Willis. Excuse me,
okay,
Willis.
Because Quentin. Hey, no, listen, because Quentin Williams is looking at our podcast. He might be thinking about, let's talk about him for a quick second, because I keep saying, I actually had a guy, he DM'd me on Twitter and said, I really think the Falcons should go after Quentin Williams. And if you're Quentin Williams, you're probably wanting out of New York. Do you really think that? And to be honest with you, I'll say cut it out with Quentin Williams. We're not getting to Quentin Williams from the standpoint that he's already on a losing team. He has his laundry list of teams that will want to get him. He's not going to pick the Atlanta Falcons as a destination to want to, further his career. But I do think that somebody like that with the Grady Jarrett, we do need another type of defensive tackle, to your point. Because Aaron Donald is a man among boys, right? Oh, yeah. But to have a disruptive defensive tackle, it's just such a lost art, man. Because outside of Aaron Donald, how many defensive tackles are just truly consistently disruptive? You know what I mean? Like, we just, Like I said,
I can read you off a laundry list of who were supposed to be the next Aaron Donalds, and it ain't happened yet. Kojak Nantucket tipped us $9. Appreciate you there, Kojak.
Kojak the man.
He says, y'all gentlemen keep chopping it up. Hashtag ATL Ho. I don't know about this ATL Ho thing. I don't know about all that.
It's an old Lil Jon thing. It's a Lil Jon thing.
Okay, all right. Well, yeah.
Look,
I ain't listened to Lil Jon in so long. Not since I had 312s in the back of my truck. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
you know.
Actually, and you know what? We can't mention Lil Jon on this show anymore because me and Jimbo, we talked about, man, we getting crunk. Remember when we did that a couple weeks back? We're gonna get crunk about defense. That car is dead. That car is.
Okay. So it needs jumper cables.
That battery, yeah, that's right. That battery. We need jump.
Understood. So,
I'm gonna ask y'all quick.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I want to ask y'all about this fourth down thing, man. Because the percentage-wise, it was 64.7% to win the game if we made the fourth down, but it was 72% if we just kicked the field goal. Don't talk about the earlier fourth down that we.
You're talking about the 4th and 5 that we went for. Okay.
So he chose the lesser percentage chance of winning the game. You know what I mean? So he chose the other. So he didn't even really look at analytics. He went just straight off a gut feeling. Now that's on him once again. But since it's an analytic game and Todd Gurley supposed to went down, why you went against the analytics then? You see what I'm saying?
No,
how y'all feel about that fourth down thing?
There are times that these coaches say, "Well, I'm going for it. I'm going to be aggressive," and they pick some of the weirdest times in the world to let's be aggressive. Like in a situation like that, as close as the game has been, take your points.
Take what you can get, right?
You know, I mean, there's that old adage: you take what the defense will give you. You were in range, kick the field goal, get the points.
And you know what though? To be honest with you, Mike Smith didn't go for it enough on fourth down. Dan Quinn might have went for it too much on fourth down because. Right. You know, if we always look at it, I always give Dan Quinn his credit. You know, he always was a coach who, if it was fourth down, he gonna believe in his guys. I respected it. He empowered his guys, but guess what? He empowered his guys to run into a wall more times than complete. You know what I mean? So it's like we're running into that same problem. Kind of with Raheem Morris, which I said right now, Raheem Morris was like a slightly more angry version of Dan Quinn in terms of how he go. Like I said. Went with his gut, went with his intuition. Like I said, that's a good sign of leadership. That's a sign of a coach who's like, we're going to try to be aggressive and we're going to try to
right.
Them. But I do question why you put Ito Smith in that situation when he hasn't necessarily. Maybe there's something they saw on tape or something like that. But I'm a little bit confused at the play call. Yeah, it was a horrible play call, horrible execution on Matt Ryan. As well, and Matt Ryan knows that is a play that if the tide turns in our favor, it's a completely different game because he would have probably walked in the end zone or gotten us down to at least the 3 or 4 yard line.
But going for it still gave you a slightly lesser percentage chance of winning that game.
Right,
good point,
and he knew this. He knew this, but he still. I mean, don't be so analytical towards Todd Gurley when you win that analytical then.
Right.
Just do all good feeling stuff and just go with it, man.
Right, just like if you're gonna go out coaching your own style, right?
Yeah, right.
That's right.
I'm trying to be analytical on the play where that was crucial, and the fourth down was crucial too. But anyway, go ahead, JR.
Now, and also, I want something to touch on, y'all. Has it not been odd to anybody else's of Ito Smith's usage this year?
It's spontaneous, kind of.
Yeah, it's such a weird,
sporadic.
Right, like Brian Hill is clearly the number 2 back, right? Todd Gurley's clearly your number 1 back. So when you're bringing in Ito Smith at such odd times, doesn't that wouldn't that key off the defense?
That's my point exactly. I agree. That's kind of like you said. That's kind of what we're talking about on the fourth down because it's kind of like, okay, you haven't really utilized him to the best of his ability. Because let's be honest, everybody on this show, we've made the reference. Oh, Ito Smith could be like Darren Sproles, or he could serve these little roles because let's be honest, Ito Smith has actually made some pretty good plays over the last couple of years. Like to the point where I would say in some games this season. I mean, he was.
But how is he leapfrogging Hill like that though? On just a random play, on a crucial play. How you gonna leapfrog him?
Exactly.
I'm not getting it.
I know. I mean, yeah.
Like
Just
Dan
yeah,
Quinn.
right.
Quasi Kendricks keeps asking who do we think the head coach should be? I don't have a mark yet. If you like I said, I'm doing a series that's coming out every Thursday,
Yeah,
where I'm featuring some guys who I think could do a good job. So, if you want to, check that out, that'll give you some ideas, at least who I think. What I'm looking for is me personally, is I want an offensive-minded head coach myself, because generally speaking, offensive-minded head coaches tend to bring in, real headstrong defensive coaches.
That's right.
And so I'll be in, that's kind of what I want to see. Be Strong just tipped us $2, says we need to keep Matt Ryan until he retires. I mean, that's the more than likely outcome, is that we keep Matt Ryan until he retires. That's
Strong.
Right. So that's my opinion there. Well, gentlemen, we have definitely bumped up on an hour. We did it again. We talked about a losing team for an hour. That's amazing. And what's more amazing is that people are watching us. And Paris Green here at the very end has tipped us, says, why is the middle of the field always open in crucial moments?
Ooh, man, listen.
Well, that's $1 million question right there.
Man, listen, right. Hey, what do you think? That's comment again. I'll come back. Right.
Yeah.
I comment personally after the show is over with. I'll give you a comment back. What do you think?
Dude, I'm with it. I don't know why it does, but it does seem like it's always open.
Always
makes me absolutely crazy.
It's like
75 yards and 64 seconds with no timeouts.
Come on with it. Come on with it.
This is Waffle House. It's always open.
Always open, baby. Always open. We're gonna rattle off a few more and then we're gonna get out of here. Wallace Smith says, I think we're going to pick a GM first and then let him get AC. That could possibly be. Slim Kid says Rex, period. Have people forgot Rex beat Peyton Brady with Sanchez? Yeah, but I mean, come on. Ain't time passed by, Rex?
I was about to say this is a different time, man.
That's right.
Different game. No.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Right. Rex Ryan is Brian Cox with head coaching experience.
There you go. Nick says, where's Olsen? On the bench for some odd reason.
Not even on the bench. No,
he's at the house, right? He's just inactive.
He's wearing the same shirt. Yeah, he's wearing the same outfits we wearing up in.
Sunshine is delusional. He says JR should be the coach. No.
JR, what's that?
Look,
you ain't delusional.
Hey, I'll sign a contract. I'll sign a coaching contract. I'll do as good a job, I guess. All right, last one. We're gonna leave it with let's see, Falcon fan 1990 to say Raheem Morris blew it after one loss. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Iron Rain says, I get on you boys when I think you're wrong, but I got to give you props when y'all get it right. Props tonight. Appreciate you there, Iron. Hey, look.
I really appreciate that, Iron.
All day long. If you think we wrong, come at it. You know what I'm saying? That's the point of all this. That's the point of coming on here every Tuesday night.
That's it.
Is that we can talk and we can have our opinions heard. Y'all can have y'all's opinions heard. That's the whole point, because we definitely don't get a fair shake on the mainstream media, which is why we do this, or why we did this to begin with.
That's right. Exactly. That's right, JR.
Exactly.
All right, gentlemen. I appreciate y'all hanging with us tonight. Crowd, chat room, I appreciate y'all hanging with us. As always, y'all can catch me on Twitter. I'm at Grimm1128, GRIMM1128. Jimmy?
You can catch me on Twitter at Jimmy Obama, that's JIMMYOBAMA. And catch us Saturday mornings on Pound ATL. And catch JR on Thursday with them coaches. It's a doozy.
That's
Big
right.
Mike.
Yes, sir. And you got your boy Big Mike Dub, MIKE_DUB. Keep tapping in. Love to keep the DMs rolling. DBN. Y'all keep it interesting. Y'all are the reason why we do this, and we go so hard for it. And we always thank you.
Appreciate it, folks. And as always, Falcons fans, rise up.
Rise up, baby.
Rise up.
Do.